There's a large part of me that wishes that Awaken Astral Blade turned out to be the Metroidvania game that we've all been waiting for in 2024. Unfortunately, I don't think it's lived up to the anticipation level that I had for it. Saying that, Awaken Astral Blade is a pretty good Metroidvania, your classic 7.5, 8 out of 10 game, but there's a few things that just make it miss out on being that game that I was hoping it would be. My name's Beggles, we're going to review this fantasy-based Metroidvania game. Let's get into it. Awaken Astral Blade follows the journey of Tania, this bionic android-like person who's sent into this strange universe and sent to investigate, to rescue some soldiers with her kind of creepy father who don't think so real dad, I think he's the creator. As you play through, you will get to explore a map classic Metroidvania style, unlocking new areas, unlocking new abilities, but most of your work's going to be built around your attack system. Most of your damage is built around combinations, and if you ever thought of the most simplistic combination builder, that's pretty much what Awaken Astral Blade does. You press X a bunch of times, and if you hit your triangle or your Y, whatever controller you're using at the right time, you will trigger a combination, and you'll be doing this over and over and over again. One of the good things about Awaken Astral Blades is there are lots of little interruptions to your journey, lots of boss fights, lots of little mini sequences, and you cannot deny that the visual design elements of this game are brilliant. Tania controls really well, platforming and jumping is all good, the combos feel easy, there are lots to do. You do slash your way through enemies quite quickly, and the dash is utilised in pretty much every fight that you will find. Tania collects Aether as she's walking around by defeating enemies or doing combinations in the right way, and you can use this Aether to upgrade your abilities, your skills, that kind of thing. The skill tree is pretty simple, you would have seen it in other games before, and it starts to create this pattern of me where I pretty much feel like nearly everything that I've seen in this game has been experienced elsewhere. Yeah, there's lots of copied elements, but they've done it in a sleek way that make it still kinda cool. As you progress through the story, Tania starts to find out that her father's not all he sort of was looking to be, and there might be a bit of a conspiracy here. Awaken jumps between this sci-fi and fantasy elements, which can be a little bit disjointing, but allows you to experience new biomes and new enemies to attack. So all this is sounding really good, right? And even when we start to look at some of the storyline, whilst it's hard to follow at the start, you can't help but be intrigued about where it's going to go. Saying that, you will go through these interesting sequences that really make no sense to me about what's actually happening, but hey, just keep on going. So what is it about Awaken Astral Blade that makes me think that, hey, this maybe is not that sort of groundbreaking game? And I think most of it comes down to the attack mechanics. You will do a lot of repetitive battles over and over again, and it starts to become a bit boring to the point where you feel like you're just being thrown enemies to slow your progression. Whilst the boss fights are pretty epic and I really like their design, most of them can be defeated by just dashing and attacking in the right way, and most of the battles that I encountered end up becoming just like a DPS rush where I'm just trying to hit my combos over and over again, X, 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 Y, X, 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 Y, and then a couple of dashes to dodge any incoming attacks. What that means, I'm not really feeling all that challenged in terms of what I need to do, and the attack patterns are pretty predictable, so you'll learn them pretty quickly. There are a bunch of different people that Tania will meet along the way, and they feel just kind of unusual, like characters thrown in there just to have someone to interact with. I feel like this game is missing a bit of the charm and a bit of the uniqueness that makes Metroidvanias good. Aeterna Noctis is one of my favourite Metroidvania games that I've played, and when I played through that, I felt like everything that I was experiencing was unique and new and done in a way that I wasn't expecting. Awaken Astral Blade doesn't feel like that to me. It feels kind of like it's grabbed this sequence from this game, this chasing sequence from another, some platforming style mechanics from another, and for that to work for me, I think the storyline needs to be much more engaging and the world needs to have a bit more of a charm to it, rather than be a bunch of really well-designed assets thrown together and kind of mushed into an experience that, whilst it's fun, is repetitive and starts to wane into that experience of like, why am I still playing? Do I really want to keep going with this? Is it time to maybe jump onto something else? This is a genre that has a lot of good quality games in there, so that's kind of high expectations to meet. So why would you want to buy Awaken Astral Blade? Well, it's got this pretty fan service like main character, and you can't deny that the combination building do look impressive, so all the visual design is awesome. If you really enjoy the fighting mechanics and don't mind the repetitive nature of enemies spawning over and over again and having to just kind of like grind your way through, then you'll really enjoy that part of it. If you like putting the pieces together in a story and don't mind it being confusing at times, not quite linked in the way that you would in a fluid game, then you'll probably like Astral Blade as well. As I said, I put it in that range of 7.5, 8 out of 10. I still think it's a really solid title. I just don't think it's as amazing as it could be if it had a little bit more clarity around what it was actually trying to be. Hey, let me know what you think. See you in the comments.